Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video, we are going to be looking at the top 3 small lightweight gaming mice of 2019. And the contenders that we have today are the glorious Model O-, the Cooler Master MM710, and the Logitech G Pro. So let's go ahead and start off with the Logitech G Pro. Now this mouse, even though it may be the heaviest out of the bunch, I do feel is pretty comfortable. It's got a nice design that fits somewhere right in between the slimmer glorious Model O- and the little bit thicker MM710. So this one is right in between in terms of shape and comfort, which I do find really good. And a lot of people do find the design of the G Pro Hero and the 305 wireless really nice and comfortable and easy to use. Logitech has definitely nailed it in terms of the side buttons and the mouse 1 and 2, obviously, because the mouse 1 and 2 are separated in the shell. There's no wobble at all. So I will say that the G Pro for sure has the best build quality. It is also the heftiest as well. Because the other two do have better cables than the G Pro does have a pretty plain Jane braided cable. It's a very stiff cable as well, and I do not recommend using this mouse without a mouse bungee because the cable is pretty bad. Now, you can always, take off the skates and paracord this mouse on your own. And I do think that that's a really good idea if you plan to make this your main gaming mouse. It does feature a little bit of RGB and the scroll wheel is really good. And the skates that come on it are okay, but obviously you can buy some aftermarket skates like Hyperglides or Corpads and replace those and make those a ton better. But the standard skates that are on this mouse do work pretty well. So good job with Logitech. You can tell that they didn't cheap out on the quality of skates. I do find myself hitting a ton of easy shots with this mouse, and I do like it because I feel like I do play very well with this mouse and this design and its comfort. Moving right along to the Cooler Master MM710. The MM710 does feature a little bit of a different design than the other two mice. This one is a much more ergonomic design than the Model O and the G Pro. This one, the hump on the back is enlarged and it is really comfortable. Definitely the most comfortable out of the three to hold and to play with. And by far, this mouse does have the best cable between the three as well. So this one does have a really nice paracord-like cable and probably one of the best stock cables from an OEM in my personal opinion. The sensor is the 3389. I really can't tell a difference between the sensor in the G Pro, the Model O-, and this one, even though this one is supposed to be the latest and greatest from Pixar. And the switches on this mouse are some quality Omron switches as well. I will say that the clicks on all of them are all pretty decent. They just have their different sounds, but they all feel and function great. And I can't really say that, some clicks are better than others. One thing I do wish about the MM710, I do wish that the side buttons weren't so angular. I wish that they were a little bit more flat, and I feel like that would be a little bit easier to hit. But this one is the lightest out of the bunch as well. There are plenty of holes cut into this mouse. The design is very basic and simple, and I like that because it's really comfortable. The skates on the mouse are very good as well. They're just some plain Jane white PTFE feet, and they work incredibly well. I don't really see a real reason to swap out the mouse feet on this one. And I think that adds a little bit of value too to this mouse, just because you don't have to spend extra money on aftermarket skates to get extra performance. And they even throw an extra set of skates in the box as well in case you want to swap yours out. Just remember to peel off the plastic on the skates when you get it. And at 50 bucks, this does make it one of the cheapest mice on this list because the G Pro and the Model O can be a little bit more expensive. The only thing that I wish was different about the MM710, I wish that the white version was available on Amazon, and I can't wait for the RGB version to come out in December. Because currently the other two mice do have some type of RGB support. The Logitech with this software and the Model O with the glorious software. Last but not least, the Model O-. The Model O- does share a pretty similar design to the Final Mouse Ultralight 2. And if you swap the standard black cable for the new Ascendant cable, you might get a similar look. So if you're going for a similar look to the Ultralight, then you should probably pick this one up. It's the same shape as the glorious Model O, but obviously just shrunken down a little bit. And with the new build quality and manufacturing changes that Glorious has made over the past few months, the new packaging is much better. The quality of the mouse is a lot better too. So on the side before, when you used to be able to, click in the side buttons by pressing in on the case spacing, there's no more of that. And the side buttons I can tell are also improved as well. Between the three, I will have to say that the Model O- has the most satisfying sound in terms of clicks for the side buttons, but the Logitech G Pro does have the best feeling side buttons. Another thing about the Model O- is that I will say that the scroll wheel definitely feels the best, especially in terms of Battle Royale games. It feels like this one is the most accurate when it comes to switching between your different items. Whereas with the Logitech, I feel like it's a little bit easier to overshoot, and the MM710 does feel pretty similar to the Model O, but just not quite as good. The G skates that come on the Model O are pretty good, but recently I have been trying some core pad skates on the Model O, and they do perform better than the G skates. And I will say that this does make it on par with the skates that come standard on the MM710. The cable that comes with the Model O is decent. It's not the most flexible or light feeling. You don't really notice that it's there, but I do recommend that you do play with this one in a mouse bungee as well. Especially with the new Ascendant cable, I have noticed that it is a little bit stiffer than the previous version of the Glorious cable. And especially since the previous version of the Glorious cable is not available, then I will have to give it a ding because I felt like that one performed a little bit better. And this one is a little bit too stiff for my liking, which does put the MM710 cable a little bit ahead of this one. But in terms of design and aesthetics, the Model O- definitely looks the best to me. After long periods of time, I have noticed that the Model O- is not the most comfortable to use, especially if you do have bigger hands and you feel like using a smaller mouse. So with that being said, the reason for that discomfort is just because the height of the back of the mouse is not tall at all. It's very slim, and that kind of leaves the middle of your hand really uncomfortable, and it kind of leaves this one to be like a very fingertip user type of mouse, especially for bigger hands. If you have really small hands, or maybe you're a teenager with small hands or something like that, then I would say the Model O- is a pretty good pickup. But otherwise, either get the bigger Model O or look at one of the other two mice, because you'll probably find that they're just a little bit more comfortable. Now, in terms of playing with all three mice, you will perform very well playing with either of them. The sensors are all good. It's really hard to determine which one has the best sensor, just because they all perform extremely well. So I feel like the sensor is the least of your worries. But what I will say is that if you're more so concerned about the comfort, then the MM710 is the most comfortable. If you're concerned about the skates, the MM710 also has the best skates. If you're concerned about the cable, the MM710 also has the best cable. In terms of aesthetics, the Razer does win, and in terms of look and feel, I feel like the Logitech one is pretty well rounded, but it doesn't really win in any categories. The Logitech one is nice, but I think it's time that they redo the G Pro and G Pro Hero and come out with a lighter version. And I hope that that's coming within the next few months or so, because it is time for a refresh. So maybe come out with the Logitech G Pro Hero X. That's, I don't know, 50 or 60 grams, still features RGB, and has a much improved cable and better skates. Okay, so Logitech, work on that. Model O- is good if you are okay with having a slightly firmer cable and a slightly shorter mouse that may be a little bit more uncomfortable if you do have bigger hands, which leaves the MM710 as the default winner because it's the best in the most categories. The switches are quality. The mouse does have a pretty simple and basic design, and I do think that for the money, you do get the most value out of the MM710. The only places that it falls short is really just in RGB, because it doesn't feature RGB, unfortunately. But the MM711 is coming out in December that will feature RGB, so that's gonna fix that problem. But yeah, guys, I was really surprised, especially because Cooler Master is really good at obviously making cases and coolers, and we really didn't expect them to make such a quality mouse in 2019. And this thing for sure, in my personal opinion, is the best lightweight mouse in the small mouse size category of this year. I'm pretty sure I would probably prefer the MM710 over the Ultralight 2 if I had one, but I'm not paying extra for an Ultralight 2. And I'm sure that it's not gonna be as comfortable as the MM710 as well. But all right, guys, drop a comment and let me know what you think your personal favorite small lightweight mouse of this year is. Or if you don't like small mice, let us know why. I'm curious to see why you guys like to use bigger mice as well. Personally, I'm still waiting on the glorious Model D. That's coming out in December, and I can't wait to try that because I'm on the other spectrum. I'm waiting for the most comfortable, lightweight ergo mouse. But I had to throw this video out there for you guys that are looking for your next mouse if you're looking for the smaller mouse category. I will have all 3 mice linked in the description below, so if you're interested in picking one of the 3 up, I will have them linked below. You guys be sure to join the Discord if you guys have any more questions about any of these mice. Get some sneak peeks on videos that we have coming up very soon in the near future. And yeah, we could just chill and chat. But all right guys, if you guys are new, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new. I appreciate all the support. We've been growing like crazy recently, and all the continued support as well from our new subscribers. Once again, drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new. I will catch you guys in the next video.